Hi students, how are you? Hope all you are fine. Due to corona, everyone has to stay home. Do hand wash regularly, and without hand wash, don't keep your hands in your eyes, mouth and nose, and follow the rules and regulations of the government so that we can easily escape from corona and we can easily come out. And I want to congratulate you. You got promotion from 6th standard to 7th standard. Yes. So in 7th standard, we have 7 lessons in biology. So the first lesson is nutrition in plants. Yes. So I share the content in the screen. You can go through this content also while I am teaching. And if you have any doubts, and you let me know. So the first lesson is nutrition in plants. So in the heading itself, we have the answer. Nutrients are present in the plants, and we are getting the nutrition from the plants. So that is the meaning of this lesson. So we should know the importance of the plants. Already we know, and apart from that, some other importance also there. Okay. So in 6th standard class, we already learnt about nutrients. What are the components of nutrients, right? Carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals are components of food. Okay, so these are the components of food. These components of food we can call it as nutrients. And these nutrients are very, very important to our body. So we have to eat healthy food to keep our body healthy, right? Here all living organisms require food. Plants. So who is giving these nutrients? So in this heading, in this lesson, in this heading, we have the answer: plants. So plants are the primary producers, right? So they are preparing their own food by means of a photosynthesis process. So all living organisms require food. Plants can synthesize food for themselves, but animals, including humans, cannot. They get it from plants or animals that eat plants. Thus, humans and animals are directly or indirectly depends on plants. Okay. So these things already we know. We are basically we are getting food from the plants, right? So directly as well as indirectly, right? Herbivores, carnivores, omnivores already we discussed in 6th standard. You have to remember those points here, right? So now, so what are the things we learn here? Nutrients. So what is nutrients and what are the components of the nutrients, right? So here, next one is the mode of nutrition in plants. So based on this, whether they are preparing the food or they are depending on other organisms, so based on that we have the classification. So mode of nutrition in plants. So here already we know the plants are preparing their own food. Okay, so these plants we can call it as autotrophic. Autotrophism we can say. So they are autotrophic mode of nutrition. So in plants we can say autotrophic mode of nutrition. So here what is the meaning of this auto? Auto means self. Trophos means nourishment. Okay. So here the plants they are using some raw materials from the environment and they are preparing their own food. Okay. Therefore plants are called autotrophs. Here animals and most other organisms take in food prepared by plants. So we are depending the plants, animals and human beings. Directly or indirectly we are getting the food from the plants. So those type we can call it as heterotrophs. So what are all the modes of nutrition here? Autotrophic mode of nutrition and heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So in this autotrophic mode of nutrition, what is the example? We can have plants as an example for this autotrophic mode of nutrition, and in heterotrophic mode of nutrition we can say animals and human beings. Okay. Here, so that's all about modes of nutrition. So what are the things we learned here? What is nutrients? Okay, and what are the mode of nutrition in plants? That is autotrophic mode of nutrition and heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Okay, so hetero means other. So they are getting food from other organisms, especially plants. From plants we are getting the food. Okay, so here next one. As we discussed here, we said the plants are preparing their own food by means of photosynthesis process. Now I am going to explain what is photosynthesis. Okay, so photosynthesis is nothing but food making process in plants. So it is happening only in the plants. So that point we have to remember. So what is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is nothing but food making process in plants. Okay, so we know there are many parts of plants, right? So we are taking two types of systems are there in the plants that we know, that is a root system as well as shoot system. Okay, so here the plant diagram is given. So this is the shoot system and this is the root system. Okay, so what is shoot system? The aerial parts of the plants we can call it as shoot system. So what are the parts we can see? Leaf we can see, stem we can see. If it is a big plant, a big tree, we can see the branches, everything, right? So those parts which come under, it will come under shoot system. Okay, and this is the root system which is present below the soil, right? So these parts, even though it has many parts, so here the leaves are performing the photosynthesis process. So that point we have to remember. Okay, so why? What is the reason? So this leaf has chlorophyll pigment. So this chlorophyll pigment is giving green color to the leaf as well as it trapping the sunlight. Okay, so this is very important. And apart from this, what are all the raw materials are needed for this photosynthesis process? If you want to prepare some food, we have to add some ingredients, right? In 6th standard, we already learned about what is ingredients, right? So here for photosynthesis process, what are the raw materials are needed for this photosynthesis process? So what are the raw materials? So here water and minerals are very important. So they are the water and minerals also the raw materials. So from where the plant is getting this water and minerals. So these plants they are getting this water and minerals from the soil. So we already know that which type of system is present in the soil? Root system, right? So this root will absorb this water and minerals and it send it to the leaf, because the leaf has the chlorophyll pigment and this leaf can do the photosynthesis process, so that it can by means of trapping the sunlight. Okay, so here the water and minerals which is present in the soil, that will be absorbed by the root system and then that get transported to the leaves. Okay, so here, so water and minerals also raw materials, and apart from that carbon dioxide is also one of the raw material. So we know very well carbon dioxide is one of the gas which is present in the atmosphere. Okay, and this will be taken by the leaf through a tiny pores which is present in the surface of the leaves, that is named as stomata. Okay, so carbon dioxide also one of the raw materials. So from atmosphere, how this leaf is getting this carbon dioxide? It's taking the leaf surfaces has tiny pores, so that pores we can call it as stomata. So this through this stomata, what happening? This carbon dioxide is entering into the leaf. Okay, so now the plant it got what are the things? Water, minerals as well as carbon dioxide, right? And here we know the root system is absorbing the water and minerals, right? And it has to send it to the leaves. So there is some pipeline system. So pipeline has to be there. Some pipes will be there. So this water and minerals has to be transported to the leaves by vessels. How we are getting the water from our water tanker? Through pipe, no? So like that here, water and minerals will be absorbed by the root and that will be taken to the leaf through this pipe. Okay, so that pipe name we can say it as vessels. Okay, so this where are these vessels present? These vessels present in the root, the stem and the branches and the leaves. Okay, so from the root it will enter into the stem and then to the branches, at last it reaches the leaf. So now the leaf it got the water and minerals by means of vessels. Okay, and they form a continuous path or passage for the nutrients to reach the leaf. They are called vessels. So what are vessels? So we can have a question here, what are vessels? What are the uses of vessels in the plants? Okay, and we have to highlight through these vessels the root system is sending the absorbed water and minerals to the leaf for photosynthesis process. Okay, so stomata is also one of the part to perform the photosynthesis process. The leaf has performed so that the stomata it taking the carbon dioxide and giving to the leaf. and root it absorbing the water and minerals, and it's sending to the leaf by means of this vessels. Okay, and next one we are coming to leaf, because the leaf, in the leaf only what is happening, the photosynthesis process. A green pigment that we know, the chlorophyll pigment is present in the leaf. So what are the uses of this chlorophyll pigment? The chlorophyll pigment is giving green color to the leaf, and it helping the leaf to trap the sunlight, because the sunlight is major source for this photosynthesis process. Without sunlight there will be no photosynthesis process. Okay, so here we have to think one point. During daytime only we are getting the sunlight, the plant is getting the sunlight. So during daytime the plant can produce the plant can perform the photosynthesis process. Okay, so it helps leaves to capture the energy of sunlight. So this point is very important. So without sunlight there will be no photosynthesis process, even though we have other raw materials that will not work out. Okay, so this energy is used to synthesize food from carbon dioxide and water. We know how the plants are getting the carbon dioxide and how it taking the water. Okay, since the synthesis of food occurs in the presence of sunlight, it is called photosynthesis. So already I said photo means light. Okay, so what is happening? Photo means light, synthesis to combine. So with the presence of sunlight, it combining the remaining raw materials. So what are the raw materials? We discussed carbon dioxide is one of the raw material, water is one of the raw material. Okay, and minerals also one of the raw materials. So it utilizing these here sunlight, with the presence of sunlight, the remaining raw materials, carbon dioxide, water, okay, with the presence of chlorophyll, right? So it combining all the remaining raw materials with the presence of sunlight, and it performing the photosynthesis process. That means it's preparing the food. So the sunlight is very, very important. Okay, and so we find that chlorophyll, sunlight, carbon dioxide. So chlorophyll, sunlight, carbon dioxide and water are necessary to carry out the process of photosynthesis. So you can have a question. So what are all the raw materials for photosynthesis process? So what are all the raw materials? Sunlight is needed, carbon dioxide is needed, water is needed with the presence of chlorophyll. So these four are very important for the photosynthesis process. It is a unique process on the earth. The solar energy is captured. Here the solar energy means sunlight. Okay. The solar energy is captured by the leaves and stored in the plant in the form of food. So here, in which form it will store the food? It store the food in the form of starch. So the plants will store the food in the form of starch. Okay. So here is you just think, if the sunlight is not there, is there any way for the plants to prepare their food? No. So here we are saying sun is the ultimate source of energy for all living organisms. If the plant are not preparing their own food, there will be no herbivores. Herbivores means already we discussed in 6th standard, plant eating animals. Okay. If the herbivores are not there, then there will be no chance for carnivores. If the carnivores are not there, herbivores and carnivores are not there, then there will be no chance for omnivores, right? So the sunlight is the ultimate source of energy for all living organisms. Okay, so this is the meaning. This point is very, very important. Okay, so now we can't imagine this world without photosynthesis. If the photosynthesis is not there, there will be no plants. And not only for the photosynthesis, we need the plants for liberation of oxygen. By means of photosynthesis, the plant is preparing their food and it stored the food in the form of starch. By the same time, it liberating oxygen. Okay. You just see in next page, the diagram is given. You just see here. This is the plant diagram. Okay, here the leaf is green in color because of the presence of chlorophyll pigment. Okay, so the chlorophyll pigment is present in the leaf, so it can trap the sunlight. You just see the direction of the arrow mark, it's towards the plant. Okay, and one more raw material. What is the raw material? Carbon dioxide. So it is also coming towards the arrow mark is also towards the plant. Okay, carbon dioxide. So sunlight, carbon dioxide, and from the soil, the root is absorbing the water and minerals. Okay, so this is also going to the leaf. Okay, so carbon dioxide, sunlight with the presence of chlorophyll, water, everything it's combining, and it preparing the food in the form of starch, and it's storing the food in the form of starch. Okay, and by the meantime, we just see the arrow mark here. Okay, so how it is? It is outward direction. That means the oxygen is coming out. So it liberating carbon dioxide. Okay, so it liberating oxygen. Sorry. Okay, so it's taking carbon dioxide, chlorophyll, sunlight, and water and minerals from the soil. And by the same time, it's liberating oxygen to the environment. We know without oxygen there will be no living organism. So this oxygen liberation from the plant is very, very important. Okay, so that we have to go for afforestation. We have to say for deforestation. Okay, and here the photosynthetic equation is given. So this is very, very important. Okay, so what are the raw material? Carbon dioxide is one of the raw material, water is one of the raw material, and chlorophyll is present in the leaf that trap the sunlight. So by means of this, what is happening? It's preparing the food. Here the prepared food we are calling as carbohydrate, and apart from that it liberating oxygen to the environment. So this is a photosynthetic equation. Okay, so you have to remember this photosynthetic equation. So in exam we can have a question, define photosynthesis. So that is separate question, and you just write the equation for photosynthesis. You can have a question separately. So different definition for photosynthesis and equation of photosynthesis also you can expect. Okay, so this is very, very important, not only for 7th standard, it is very important till 12th standard. So till 12th standard you can have a question based on this photosynthesis, photosynthesis equation, everything. Okay, and during this process oxygen is released, as we discussed. So oxygen is released during this process, means what? During this photosynthesis process the oxygen is released. The presence of starch in the leaves indicates the occurrence of photosynthesis. So how we can say that this leaf has performed this photosynthesis? So we have to do the test whether the starch is present in the leaf or not. What I said earlier, the plant is preparing the food by means of photosynthesis. That prepared food is stored in the form of starch in the leaf. Okay, so we have to do the test, and while testing we can easily find the presence of starch in the leaf. If the leaf has starch, then it did the photosynthesis process. If there is no starch, if the starch is absent in the particular leaf, and it didn't do the photosynthesis process. So starch is also a carbohydrate. It is one form of carbohydrate. Okay, so you just remember this point also. So what is starch? Starch is one form of carbohydrate. Okay, so till that what I explained. Till here you have I explained what is photosynthesis. So what are all the photosynthesis, what are all the raw material for photosynthesis? Okay, and what is the reason for the green color of the leaf? Because of the presence of chlorophyll. Okay, and what is the end product of photosynthesis? That is liberation of oxygen as well as carbohydrate. Okay, so this carbohydrate, it's a simple form that will be converted into polysaccharides. So that is the starch. Okay, so starch is one form of carbohydrate. Okay, so these things you have to remember. And what is the photosynthesis equation? Okay, and here the section of leaf is given, and small dot is there. So that is the chlorophyll. Okay, so here some gap is there, so that is the stomata. I said no, the surface of the leaf, it has small holes. So through these holes the gases exchange takes place, right? So that holes we can call it as stomata. Okay, and here this is the structure of stomata. So this is basic diagram. So this diagram is very, very important. Till 10th standard you are getting the question, the structure of stomata. Okay, so see here in the center the stomatal opening is there. So this stomata will be covered by a cells, one bean shape. It's looking like a bean shape, right? So this is the God cell, which is giving protection to the stomata. Okay, by means of opening and closing of the stomata there will be a gases exchange will takes place. Okay, so this is the basic diagram you have to practice. So this will be helpful for your 10th standard. Till 10th standard you are getting this question, draw and label the structure of stomata. Okay, 10th standard you will get it in detail. Okay, so hope so till this the content is clear. Yes, so from this, if you have any doubts, you just text me. I'll clear your doubts. Yes, hope so you enjoy this session. Yes, yeah.